وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وعن أبي سعيد رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: ليس فيما دون 5 أوساق من تمر ولا حب صدقة. So we started this topic on the zakah on the crops and the fruits and the plantations, and the previous hadith talked about the nisab, the threshold for that. This is a continuum for that. Abu Sa'id radiallahu anhu reported the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam said there is no zakat on the dates or the crops, the seeds, and we'll explain that in a minute inshallah. If it is less than 5 wasaq. And what's the wasaq? Last time we talked about it.
So many mikans. A number of mikans.
So 60 sa'an. So, and the sa' we mentioned, if you convert it to weight, is 2.167 grams. So that translates to approximately 6.5 tons, more or less, with the difference of conversion. And here it's very important, first before we proceed, even if someone doesn't have the zakah and does not on these things, doesn't have farms and doesn't work in these things, because only few people who would have this practical aspect. It is important to understand the zakah because it shows the beauty of the tashri'ah and the hikmah, the wisdom and the greatness of the shara of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many principles apply to other actually assets. So it is a very enjoyable and topic which gives you the comprehension of fiqh and appreciation of the shara of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here it says about the dates and the hab, the seeds, So, and in a different hadith, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam specifies the zabib, the raisins. So what is what are the products, the produce that are zakatable? So the scholars have said, is it only the dates and the raisins and the barley and the grains as the hadith specified? So these are taken for granted, obviously, they were very clear. How about the rice, for example, the corn, the fruits, right? So this is a big practical aspect now. Do you pay zakat on it or not? So they said anything that is perishable, something that you eat right away, that is not zakatable. The things that have to be zakatable is something that, number one, could be stored so it does not perish, it does not get damaged, such as when you store the dates or the grapes become raisins, and that's storable. And same thing for the barley and the grains. And it also serves as staples for the people. Because something, if it's not consumed by the majority of people, does not make any value, right? So it is only limited to specific people. So if it serves what they call in our language كل شيء بيتمون خرجت المونة. This is what people use, what the fuqaha said. That is not perishable, and that is something that would serve as staples for people year long. With that, so because the hadith, there is no hadith specified about the rice, but the rice now is more consumed than the barley and the grains. No one eats barley anymore. It's rarely eaten, right? Same thing with the corn. The corn is what many countries consume. And this is the whole Midwest economy is based on the corn, right? And all these Japanese companies fight to buy it, basically. So in that sense, it is zakatable. Same thing with the oat, with the in our countries, shofan. I don't know what shofan in English.
Maybe rye.
Right, exactly, the rye, jazakallahu khairan. So these things are zakatable, basically. So some scholars went further and said even the fruits should be zakatable because they can be stored now. They can be kept in freezers for several months now. But at least we know the concept that anything that is storable and serves as a staple for people, this is something zakatable. So the corn, the rice, the rye, the oat, obviously the barley, the grain, the dates, the raisins, all these things you should pay zakat on. And that is, the zakat is paid from it, not money, but a portion of the produce. So, how much you pay? قال وعن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما سقت السماء والعيون أو كان عثريا العشر وفيما سقي بالنضح نصف العشر ولأبي داود أو كان بعلا العشر وفيما سقي بالسواني أو النضح نصف العشر. So this is an important principle that anything that is water irrigated naturally by the natural sources, either by rain or swamps, basically. That's what's athari, meaning it's grows up at the flow of waters, such as the rice, for example. This is how the rice is watered, right? This is what Perlat was, by the way. It was rice fields.
Paddies. Rice paddies.
Yes. So, and then, or anything by a lake or by flowing river, this is natural sources. So, this is al-ushr, 10%. Why is that?
ما راح يصرف عليها من رب العزة ينزل المطر.
No, there is a very slick actually wisdom in that, because the rain is common property. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending the rain for everyone. So when you're utilizing the rain, which is common property for everyone, you have to give 10% for other people from the crops that you're producing, because the rain does not belong to anyone specifically. See the hikmah of the tashri'ah, subhanallah. So everyone owns part of that property. Is that clear? And when it is something watered, irrigated by irrigation system, where you have to dig, for example, channels, or now you have to use mechanical irrigation systems, sprinklers and that stuff, then half of that. So there is the 5% decrease because of the effort, because of the cost, because of the all the supplies and the expenses involved into that. So how about if something يعني 50-50 يعني then there is an equation you decrease by that amount. It's prorated based on the percentage of usage. Is that clear?
Are wells considered irrigation wells? Are they considered irrigation or like motor?
So the well by itself does not water, right? You need pumps to get the water out and then pipes and that stuff. So that is not it is not ba'al anymore. You know what ba'al is. In Maghreb they don't know ba'al. That's ba'al anything by the sky, by natural rain. So that's not ba'al anymore. Saqi. If it's watered, irrigated, then it is not ba'al. طيب. وعن أبي موسى ومعاذ رضي الله عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لهما لا تأخذا في الصدقة إلا من هذه الأصناف الأربعة الشعير والحنطة والزبيب والتمر. So we mentioned that, already explained. In this hadith, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari wa Mu'adh. Why Abu Musa al-Ash'ari wa Mu'adh specifically? When they were sent to Yemen, the Prophet ﷺ told them, you don't take the zakat from these 4 different categories, except from these categories. This is the barley, the grains, the wheat, the raisins, and the tamar. Right? And this is the concept that we talked about. Same thing, non-perishable or storable, and serves as a stable. وللدارقطني وإسناده ضعيف عن معاذ قال فأما القثاء والبطيخ والرمان والقصب فقد عفى عنه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So Mu'adh said, but ايش القثاء يا
سكواش يعني الخيار والمئتي
ما هو بدنا بالانجليزي
سكواش كيوكمبر
Armenian cucumber, Jazakallah khair. That's what it is. So qitha, some scholars said it's even the cucumber itself, but what is more accurate, it is the Armenian cucumbers actually. And in watermelon and in pomegranates and in qasab, the canes, it's exempted from the zakah. Why? Because it is not something you can store. It could few days and it could be perishable.
What if we are, like, for example, using it as a business, selling it and getting for the money?
And that's what some scholars said. So basically you give the zakah on the profit from selling it. The problem is there is a difference between 2.5% and 5%, right? Because with the fruits now, most of it is by artificial irrigation, right? So it's at least 5%. And when you're paying cash, it's 2.5%. So it's half of what you should get normally, right? And the other issue is some people do want the fruits itself because it's the appreciation, and when you import it, it could be actually a commodity that could be more profitable than the 2.5%. So the ijtihad of some modern scholars, Jazakumullahu khairan, that since it can be stored, it can be frozen, you still make zakah on it. The majority of the scholars is still with the opinion that the fruits and the vegetables are not zakatable, because if you have celery and parsley 3 days and it's completely rotten, so
طبعا that's if you're producing 6.5 tons of it.
Exactly, it has to be 5 أوساق. يعني you have farms and you have so you have to remember that the nisab, the threshold of 652 kilos, يعني has to be reached.
Yeah, that's a good point.
650 kilo.
So people
6 tons and a half.
So it's not something in your backyard, basically.
It is not for personal consumption. This is what we're talking about. It is an industry basically.
يعني في ال 300 صاع المقدار 5 صاع يزكي من عندها. يعني ال 60 تضربها في 5 يطلع 300. ففي ال 300 5 صاع.
And this is applied for olive and olive oils. It's the most common thing in our countries.
That's ijtihad, the modern of scholars, that this is what they're saying actually. يعني you're making zakah on يعني the barley. Who eats barley anymore? No one. And you يعني the zaytun, which is massive industry in a lot of countries. يعني if you go to Syria, Tunisia, and Palestine, it's massive industry. So, and you say there is no zakah on it, يعني it doesn't add up.
And the same percentage, if it's ba'il, 10%.
Same thing, the zaytun is ba'al primarily.
Mostly ba'al.
Yeah.
6 tons or quintal?
6 quintal.
It translates 652 كيلو.
Almost half an
يعني
6 tons, I know it's not.
أنا آسف معناته مو 6 طن 652 كيلو.
More than half ton.
Yeah. أنا آسف الأصفار بدماغي مو راكزين. Yeah. يعني فوق النص طن بشوية يعني. أو some people say 672 كيلو.
Is there differentiation between stored, let's say, rice and so, yeah, in terms of the time to pay the zakat? Fruit versus immediately. The others, I mean, do you have to wait for something can be stored, or do you have?
This is coming, inshallah. This is the next hadith. We'll do it tomorrow, inshallah, because there is with يعني just to give you a quick answer, there is a khas assessment. So even before it is harvested, there can be an assessment on it, and that's when يعني the assessor, the adjuster comes and tells you you have, I don't know, 100 acres of يعني these grapevines, and they know the formula. Every tree, every acre has so many trees, every tree produces this much. So you're gonna have, for example, 70,000 kilos of grapes. So this is, you assess 10% on it. So this is how it's done. And tomorrow, inshallah, we'll do more details. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين.
جزاك الله خير.